In today's world, one might expect that the author of an award-winning spiritual book will offer wisdom beyond the pages. But not Upamanyu Chatterjee. During his recent visit to Kolkata for the Coal India Kolkata Literary Meet, he joined the week for an interview where he spoke about his last book, Lorenzo Searches for the Meaning of Life. This JCB Prize for Literature winning novel has earned praise for its unconventional take on spirituality. Yet Chatterjee insists that his book is not about delivering messages. Curious about his perspective? Join the week's fascinating interview with the retired civil servant, where he reflects on spirituality, religion, and faith.
Can you please tell us why did you turn to spirituality from social issues in Lorenzo Searches for the Meaning of Life?
Well, I didn't turn to. It's not from my point of view a spiritual book. It's a book about a person I know who seemed to have led a very interesting life. He was a neighbor and became a friend. It seemed most unusual to have tried to become a monk at the age of 21 and moved to Bangladesh, to Khulna from Italy. I mean, he'd never been out of Italy before, so he went to England to learn English, and then went to Khulna. By the end of it, he spoke Bengali fluently. It was the language in which he used to communicate with wife and children. At times even with me. So it's not that I wrote the book because, I've become spiritual. No. Not that. I don't think spirituality or religion has anything to do with ethics or morality. I'm sure I am sufficiently ethical and I have fairly strong sense of right and wrong. But there it is. It's not really about.
So now, even though the book is set in like 70s, 80s or 90s in that era, but did you believe that Lorenzo will resonate more with people from our generation, the young adults? Because what I'm trying to say is that this sense of looking for a purpose, this was always a universal aspect of humanity, but was it so visible among common people when you were growing up? That this
no, I also I guess no, as I said, it's also because I found his story unusual. Not everyone, in fact. The book itself makes clear that his parents are deeply unhappy with his choice, and they think it's almost irresponsible. And they tell him that a good Catholic boy would, go to church, marry, have children, raise them in the Catholic faith. But to place God above your social responsibility, to them, and to quite a few, would seem to be an evasion of responsibility, of moving away. I tried to make that difference a little clearer, a little more clear-cut than it actually is, but that was certainly one impulse, yeah.
So you see that more in today's generation?
No, it's not a book with a message, I think. No,
Okay. And sir, if you could please tell us, what were some parts of Fabrizio Sansi's life that you decided not to include in this book?
Lots of them.
Can you please share some of them and why you did not include them?
Well, for example, the real Fabrizio is much more well-read in Christian theology than Lorenzo, because I said, beyond a point, you can't load the book with, more Catholic saints. He's obviously read dozens and dozens of them.
Mm.
So Lorenzo is more widely read, more widely read, certainly in the secular context. The real Fabrizio does read, I think, Bengali, but Lorenzo, all that I put in just to make the character a little more of this world, etc. There is no plus what else? If he went home from the monastery, say 6 times, I said, okay, we'll just do it once or twice. So, that sort of stuff. At one point, he goes up to that retreat, Mount Rua, He goes up there more than once, but I said, no, let him just go once. We can describe that in detail, etc. So, but that's, any plot would necessitate that kind of chopping and pruning so that the narrative line is clear.
Right. So while writing this book, have you evolved in any way and gained any spiritual insight?
No, I'm not much of a spiritual person. I like writing books. I like that discipline, but no.
But okay, so, and you said you are not spiritual, and also this was not a conscious decision that you will turn into writing spirituality. But we all know in today's era, spirituality sells. Like, it does. What do you think is its vast appeal? Why do so many people are reading spiritual books nowadays?
Well, this kind of, it's not real spirituality. It's this kind of, quick fix kind of religious belief. It's not the real thing, I think. So, and to each his own, if you find that kind of thing attractive, it's fine. But a real spiritual or religious search is much more profound and much more deep, more disturbing. Frankly, I think that to be able to read a spiritual text correctly, one must first read a lot of secular literature before you can, move to spiritual texts. And it's a pity that, maybe I'm wrong, that the new generation doesn't seem, maybe I'm probably, they don't seem to read enough, I think.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, so as you rightly said, it's more like quick fix. So what we see, like, instead of what the so-called gurus and life coaches here tell us about religious spirituality, you have highlighted the banality of it, and at times you have taken satirical digs at it. Was it a deliberate decision to include that in your storytelling?
I don't think banality is a word you've picked up from the back cover. I think. I don't think his search is banal. Lorenzo Searches banal in any way. I don't think it's a reflection on the banality of his religious experience. The publisher should remove that word from the back cover. What the book makes clear is that what Lorenzo realizes is that the monastic life is perhaps not for him, and that it is possible to lead a monastic life in this world. It's what, as I mentioned it yesterday as well, when Fabrizio was reading the draft, he read it twice. He said he he liked very much the quotation I used from Dostoevsky, Father Zosima in Karamazov, saying, a monk is what every human being ought to be. And he said, yeah, that's and that is what he realizes. And he believes that he could continue to be internally a monk and yet be part of the world.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what Lorenzo initially believed, that that there is a value in the lessons offered by religious way of life, and he thought that way of life only offers value, but then he changes his mind. So did you also have any similar kind of experience in your personal life?
I'm not, as I said, I haven't yet reached that stage where, I've had a spiritual shock of any kind, but at the same time I'm quite, as I said, ethics and morality, I hope are ingrained in me. I, follow the right path whenever I can.
So, yeah, you said that if people would follow the spiritual path, it is more difficult. So, why do you think we often overlook or feel embarrassed about finding joy in simple things of our life? And what is it in us that we assume that the quest to discovering life's purpose is always marked by hardship and compromise? Or it has to be marked by that. Without that, we are not really searching for the purpose of our life.
Well, that's two different things. I mean, people can be, I think, people can enjoy the simple things of life. That's absolutely true. And there is a tendency, in millions of lives, that nothing valuable is easily won. And I suppose that's the reason why the spiritual path is always considered a difficult path to walk, because you have to get rid of a lot of misconceptions. But to each his own, because there are a lot of people who decide that, yeah, that's worth it. And what I have to give up, I'll give up.
No, but there is this tendency, right? As you said, that people think that what is easily gained is not valuable. Why do you think like that? What is the tendency?
Well, I think, again, as I said, to each his own. Some people would, it's also psychologically true that you must feel that you've made some effort to gain something valuable. And, if you get it far too easily, then you begin to think that, oh, maybe it wasn't worth it. So that depends, I think, it differs from case to case. It depends on what he's looking for. And whether when he gets it, he realizes that maybe this is not what I wanted. That too is a possibility offered by one of his gurus in the book. Yeah.
Yeah, I could relate that. So, yeah. So, what according to you is faith and God, if you have to define it with your own personal experience?
Well, I'm not so sure. God is something without meaning to offend anything, I try and steer clear of religion. I, as I said, deeply believe in ethics and morality, but I don't think that has much to do with any religion. It's perfectly possible to lead an upright, ethical and moral life without following the external symbols of religion. And faith is a matter of personal belief, held very strongly. One, I suppose, should be ready to be proved wrong in one's faith, but that again differs from person to person.
Yeah, so just where you ended, that's what I would like to. So how divisive do you think these issues of faith and God have become in India at this moment?
Well, Not in India alone, everywhere, I think. I personally think that religion is everywhere, is explosive. One should look at it very, very carefully. And, well, when one thinks of, I mean, I prefer that education, health, all of that is taken care of. But politics is politics.
Okay. Now some personal insight about you, sir. So what are the small things that you enjoy in your life, other than writing, of course, that give you joy?
Well, I don't know. I like reading. I've managed. I managed perfectly well for years and years without TV. We don't watch TV. I wish we could have led a life without mobile phones, but I like swimming. I like walking. The usual stuff. I like. It's nice actually to be in Calcutta where you can swim. It's not that. It's not that cold. Delhi is freezing though. That's it. I lead a fairly sort of simple life.
Right. So, if you could give a sneak peek, what are your next works?
Well, I've finished a collection which was spread over the last several years of 4 long stories. So that should be out in March. I'm done with it. I've sent it to the publishers. So I hope we can stick to March as a date. So, and then I hope to do a couple of novels before, not to me, but maybe take 3-4 years to finish 2.